The evening air in the mansion was thick with anticipation. The contestants have gathered for another rose ceremony, the most nerve-wracking event of the season. Mel knew this night would be different. His mind kept returning to Cindy, the way her eyes had sparkled that afternoon, the warmth of her hand in his. But he also knew that the path to love on the Golden Bachelor was never straightforward. Tanya, fueled by jealousy, had spent the day plotting. She whispered to another contestant, "If Mel gives another rose to Cindy, I'm making my move. He can't just ignore the rest of us." Her words dripped with determination, revealing the subtle, ruthless side of the competition. Cindy, unaware of the schemes swirling around her, felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She had trusted Mel, opened her heart, and now wondered what this night would bring. She clutched the charm tightly, letting it anchor her in the moment. The ceremony began, and the golden roses gleamed under the soft lighting. Mel walked slowly down the line of contestants, a deliberate choice in each step. Tension radiated through the room like electricity. Whispers filled the background, but all Cindy could hear was the pounding of her own heart. "Tonight," Mel began, his voice steady but rich with emotion. "I've had moments with each of you that I will always cherish. But there's one connection that feels undeniable. One person who has stirred something in me that I cannot ignore." Cindy's breath caught. She knew what was coming, yet the suspense made her stomach twist. He reached her, holding out the golden rose. "Cindy, will you accept this rose?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, barely able to contain her joy. The other contestants shifted uncomfortably, their faces a mix of disappointment and envy. Tanya's jaw tightened, her plan unraveling in front of her eyes. Yet she was not done. Later, she cornered Cindy in the hallway. "I don't get it," she spat. "Mel barely even talks to the rest of us, and yet you. What makes you so special?" Cindy took a deep breath, her calm surprising Tanya. She said, "It's not about being special in a competition. It's about being seen, understood. And that's something Mel gave me from the start." Meanwhile, Mel retreated to his room, reflecting on the whirlwind of emotions and the complexities of the house. He knew there would be challenges ahead, misunderstandings, jealousy, and the public eye scrutinizing every move. But he also knew that Cindy was someone worth the risk, someone who had opened his heart in ways he hadn't expected. The following day brought a new twist, a surprise, memory lane challenge. Contestants were paired up to revisit previous dates, reliving meaningful moments. Mel paired with Cindy once more, retracing the vineyard steps, the first group date laughter, and the moment he gave her the charm. As they walked through recreated scenes, Cindy felt herself overcome with emotion. She said, "I never imagined this would happen," looking at Mel. I didn't think I could feel this way about someone I met here." Mel smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Neither did I. But it's real, Cindy. It's real." Back at the mansion, the other contestants faced mounting pressure. Some tried to charm Mel with witty banter, others with dramatic confessions of love, but none could break the bond he had with Cindy. Their whispers and glances turned to anxious murmurs, realizing the season's trajectory had shifted dramatically. That evening, after a quiet dinner on the terrace, Mel took Cindy aside for a private conversation. He said, "I know this is all intense, the cameras, the competition, everything, but I need to ask you something." He looked deeply into her eyes. "Do you trust me? Because I want to be honest. I'm falling for you, and I don't want anything to jeopardize what we have." Cindy's hand found his, squeezing it gently. "I trust you, Mel, completely. I've never felt this way before. And I feel it too. Falling for you." Their laughter mingled with soft sighs of relief, a rare moment of intimacy in the chaos of reality TV. For a few stolen hours, the world narrowed to just the two of them. But the Golden Bachelor was never short on twists. A late-night call from production brought shocking news. A wild card contestant was arriving the next day, a woman rumored to be Mel's old acquaintance. Her entrance would undoubtedly stir tension, challenge Cindy's confidence, and force Mel to confront feelings from his past. Cindy, aware of the incoming twist, felt a pang of anxiety, yet she drew strength from the moments she had shared with Mel, reminding herself that genuine connection couldn't be shaken by drama. As night fell over the mansion, Cindy and Mel stood together on the balcony, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance. "Whatever happens tomorrow," Mel whispered, "we face it together. No games, no pretenses, just us." Cindy smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "Just
Hello
us,"
everyone, welcome
she
to my
echoed.
channel. Bachelor Nation news fans. The sun hung low over the sprawling California vineyards, casting a golden glow over the rustic rows of grapes that stretched as far as the eye could see. A soft breeze carried the scent of ripe fruit and fresh earth, weaving through the laughter and chatter of the Golden Bachelor contestants as they prepared for the evening's group date. For Mel Owens, the Golden Bachelor himself, this was no ordinary night. Somewhere in his heart, he knew that tonight could change everything. Cindy, a radiant woman with a quiet confidence, had caught his attention weeks ago. There was something magnetic about her smile, a warmth that seemed to anchor the chaos of the competition. Mel had watched her from afar, savoring the subtle moments. The way she tilted her head when laughing, the sparkle in her eyes when she spoke passionately about her love for art. But tonight, he wanted to make a statement, one that went beyond roses and scripted conversations. He wanted Cindy to know that she was more than just another contestant. She was the one who stirred something in him that no one else could. As the contestants gathered near the vineyard's edge, a sommelier greeted them with a selection of fine wines. Laughter and playful banter filled the air as Mel approached, giving each woman a warm smile, though his eyes kept finding Cindy. The group strolled between the vines, sharing stories and sampling wines. But there was an electric undercurrent between Mel and Cindy, a silent acknowledgement that tonight, something extraordinary might happen. Then came the surprise. A small wooden platform had been set up amidst the vines, adorned with twinkling fairy lights and lanterns that cast dancing shadows on the grape leaves. A gentle hum of anticipation spread through the group. Mel led Cindy by the hand to the platform, while the other women exchanged curious glances. "Mel, what's going on?" Cindy asked, a mix of excitement and nervousness in her voice. "You'll see," he replied with a playful grin, though his heart pounded fiercely in his chest. A soft melody began to play, Cindy's favorite song, one she had mentioned in passing weeks ago. The wind seemed to carry the tune perfectly across the vineyard, wrapping her in a cocoon of nostalgia and magic. Then, in a moment that seemed to stretch for eternity, Mel pulled a small envelope from his pocket. "Cindy," he said, his voice steady but full of emotion, "I know we've only had a short time together, but I can't ignore what I feel. This isn't just about the competition. It's about you and me." Cindy's eyes widened as she took the envelope. She carefully opened it, revealing a handwritten note that glowed with sincerity. Her fingers trembled slightly as she read. "From the moment I met you, I knew there was something special. Your laughter, your kindness, your heart, they've captured mine. I don't want to waste another moment wondering if this is real. Cindy, will you take a chance on me?" Mel knelt, pulling a small, delicate charm from his pocket. Not a ring, but a symbol of connection. He said softly, "This isn't just a token. It's a promise. A reminder of this moment and of everything I hope we can share together." Tears glistened in Cindy's eyes as she looked at him. The other contestants had gathered at a respectful distance, whispers filling the air as they watched the unfolding scene. Cindy took a deep breath, her heart racing. She had never felt anything like this before, an honesty and vulnerability so raw that it made her stomach flutter. "Yes," she whispered, her voice breaking with emotion. "Yes, Mel. I'll take a chance on you." A cheer erupted from the group, but Cindy and Mel barely noticed. They were wrapped in their own world, two hearts acknowledging the spark that had been building since day one. For the rest of the evening, laughter and joy intertwined with quiet, stolen glances and soft touches. They danced under the fairy lights, sharing whispered secrets and promises that felt as old as time. Little did they know the cameras had captured every moment: the soft tremble in Cindy's hand, the way Mel's eyes never left her face, and the unspoken connection that drew them irresistibly together. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the vineyard in shades of rose and amber, the Golden Bachelor and his chosen woman had created a story that would leave fans across the country breathless. Back at the mansion, the contestants replayed the moment in their minds. Cindy's glow, Mel's sincerity. It was a shock, a revelation, and yet, in some way, it felt inevitable. The drama, the tears, the joy, they all mingled into the perfect storm of a Golden Bachelor moment. Social media exploded overnight, with fans calling it the most heartfelt and genuine gesture in the show's history. Mel stunned Cindy trended worldwide, and everyone wanted to know, could this love truly last beyond the cameras? But for Mel and Cindy, the world narrowed to that vineyard, that envelope, that charm, and the unspoken promise between them. They had taken a risk, bared their hearts, and discovered a connection so rare it couldn't be faked. The Golden Bachelor had delivered a heart-stopping moment that would be remembered for years, but more importantly, he had discovered that love, in its purest form, was worth every risk, every heartbeat, every whisper of
buzzing
courage.
When Mel and Cindy returned from the vineyard. Contestants whispered behind closed doors, some in awe, some in quiet frustration. Tanya, a contestant known for her competitive streak, leaned against the marble staircase with narrowed eyes. "You saw that, right?" she muttered to herself. "He's clearly into Cindy. The whole world knows it now." Meanwhile, Cindy sat on the velvet sofa, holding the charm close to her heart. Her fingers traced the delicate engraving, a mix of excitement and nervousness fluttering through her chest. She thought back to every moment with Mel, the way he remembered tiny details, the subtle touches and the laughter that seemed to bubble up whenever they were together. Tonight had changed everything. Mel, on the other hand, retreated to the balcony. The city lights glimmered like distant stars, but his mind was fixed on Cindy. He had made his feelings known in a bold, public gesture, something no bachelor had attempted in years, but he hoped it had resonated. It had to be genuine, he told himself. He couldn't risk pretending. Not now, not with Cindy. Inside, the other contestants were scheming. Some whispered alliances, others plotted subtle sabotage, hoping to reclaim Mel's attention. But Cindy's connection with him had shifted the dynamic entirely. For the first time, there was a clear frontrunner in the house, and everyone could sense it. Later that night, the mansion hosted a candlelit dinner in the grand dining hall. The atmosphere was tense, yet charged with anticipation. Every glance from Mel seemed to linger on Cindy a little longer than necessary, a fact that didn't go unnoticed. "Mel, can I talk to you for a moment?" Cindy asked after the first course. Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes were steady. He rose and followed her to a secluded corner, away from the cameras and whispers. The moment felt sacred, a fragile bubble of intimacy amid the manufactured drama of reality television. "Cindy," Mel began, his tone low, "I know this is crazy. This whole experience, it's a whirlwind. But I need you to know, I'm not here for games. I'm not here to play anyone. What I feel for you is real." Her breath caught. She had sensed his sincerity before, but hearing it out loud, uninterrupted, made her heart ache with emotion. "I feel it too, Mel," she whispered. "It's overwhelming, but in the best way." They shared a quiet moment, letting the noise of the mansion fade around them. The connection was undeniable, a spark that had survived competition, cameras, and jealousy. It was theirs alone. But drama was never far in the Golden Bachelor house. Tanya, ever observant, had followed them discreetly. She caught the tail end of their conversation and stormed back to the others. "He's serious about Cindy," she hissed. "We need to change tactics. If we want a chance, we can't just wait around." Meanwhile, social media had exploded. Clips of Mel presenting the charm and Cindy's emotional reaction were replayed thousands of times, shared with captions ranging from heartwarming to, "Can this be real?" Fans debated every glance, every gesture, every word. Bloggers and influencers speculated endlessly. Would this romance survive the pressures of the show? Back in the mansion, tensions rose. Contestants confronted each other in whispered confrontations and pointed comments. Yet Cindy remained calm, her focus entirely on Mel. She had made her choice, and the depth of her feelings grew with every passing hour. The next morning brought a surprise challenge, a vineyard scavenger hunt, designed to test teamwork, creativity, and patience. Mel paired with Cindy, an obvious move that caused side glances and murmurs from the other contestants. The challenge involved finding hidden notes scattered across the vineyard, each with a question designed to spark meaningful conversation. As they searched, Cindy found herself laughing more freely than she had in weeks. Mel's presence was a balm, a sense of comfort amid the chaos. When she found her final note, she read it out loud. "What's one thing you've always wanted to say but never had the courage?" Cindy hesitated, then smiled shyly. "I've always wanted to say, I feel like I can be myself with you, completely, without reservations. You make me feel safe, and I've never felt that way before." Mel's eyes softened. "That's exactly how I feel, too. I didn't know I could find someone who understands me, who sees me for who I am." The camera crew captured every word, every subtle glance, but Cindy and Mel barely noticed. They were lost in the moment, in each other, and in a growing realization that this was no longer just a reality TV romance. It was something real. As the day ended, they returned to the mansion, exhausted but elated. The other contestants were visibly frustrated, whispering in corners, plotting, analyzing every detail of the day. Yet despite the drama swirling around them, Cindy and Mel found a quiet moment together on the balcony. "Whatever happens," Mel said softly, "tonight, I want you to remember this moment. Us, right here, right now. No distractions, no cameras. Just us." Cindy nodded, holding his hand. "I won't forget."
The mansion awoke to an electric buzz. Rumors had spread overnight. A wild card contestant would arrive today, someone with a connection to Mel from the past. Contestants whispered nervously, wondering if their positions in the house would be threatened. Cindy, though calm on the surface, felt her chest tighten. She had trusted Mel, yet this twist made her question everything. By mid-afternoon, the limousine arrived with a dramatic flourish. Out stepped a tall, confident woman named Vanessa, someone who had known Mel years before on a business trip. Cameras caught her every step, capturing this subtle smirk on her face as she surveyed the house and the other women. Mel's eyes widened. He hadn't expected to see her here. "Vanessa?" he said, walking forward cautiously. "Vanessa," she replied, smoothly, her gaze flicking briefly to Cindy before returning to him. "Long time no see." Cindy, standing a few steps behind, felt a pang of insecurity. She gripped her charm tightly, reminding herself of the bond she and Mel had forged, but she couldn't ignore the tension building in the room. The other contestants observed silently, sensing the drama about to unfold. The evening challenge was unavoidably intertwined with the arrival. Vanessa was paired with Mel for a series of intimate conversation prompts designed to reveal deeper emotions. Cindy, alongside the remaining contestants, watched closely, her stomach fluttering. Vanessa leaned in, laughing at a shared memory, and Cindy felt her heart sink. But Mel remained composed, his expressions betraying no more than courtesy. After the challenge, he sought a private moment with Cindy. "Cindy," he began, his voice low and sincere, "I need you to know something. This is just part of the show. I've shared my heart with you, and that hasn't changed. Don't let anyone make you doubt what we have." Cindy exhaled slowly, feeling a mixture of relief and reassurance. "I trust you, Mel. I believe in us. I know the rest is just noise." But Vanessa wasn't done. Later that night, she cornered Cindy in the hallway. "I know your type, Cindy, but Mel and we have history. Are you sure you're ready to compete with that?" Cindy squared her shoulders, her confidence returning. "History doesn't matter when the present is real. I'm not afraid of you, Vanessa. What Mel and I have is genuine, and it can't be shaken by the past." Vanessa's smirk faltered, and she walked away, leaving Cindy with a renewed sense of strength. It was a turning point, the moment she realized that love required courage as much as it required vulnerability. The next day brought a heartfelt group date under the stars. Mel orchestrated a surprise, a giant projection screen displaying memories from the season, laughter, shared moments, and the little things that had built their bond. Cindy watched, overwhelmed with emotion, as the screen revealed their journey, the vineyard, the charm, the heartfelt conversations, and the stolen moments that only they had truly shared. Mel took her hand, his eyes glimmering. "Cindy, I wanted you to see this because this is us. This is real, and no one can take it away from us." Cindy felt tears prick her eyes. "I can't believe you did this," she whispered. "Everything. It's perfect." As the night wore on, other contestants noticed something undeniable, the depth of connection between Mel and Cindy. Even Tanya, who had been scheming relentlessly, paused to observe, a reluctant respect forming in her expression. Later, in a private moment on the balcony, Cindy turned to Mel. "This experience, it's been a whirlwind, but I've never felt so sure of anything in my life." Mel smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Me neither. You've taught me that love isn't about perfection or timing. It's about being brave enough to open your heart." They shared a long, tender embrace, a moment that solidified their bond. Cameras captured it, yes, but it was theirs first before the world could witness it. The Golden Bachelor had delivered yet another unforgettable shock, not just in romance, but in the courage to choose authenticity over competition. As the episode drew to a close, social media exploded. Fans cheered Cindy's strength and Mel's sincerity. True love in the house trended worldwide. Analysts speculated whether this would become the most genuine romance in the show's history. But for Mel and Cindy, all that mattered was what they had discovered together: trust, honesty, and a connection that could weather any storm. The mansion settled into a quiet night, the glow of the city outside reflecting the calm after a storm of emotions. Cindy clutched the charm once more, feeling its weight as a reminder of courage, love, and the unexpected moments that change everything. Mel stood beside her, looking out at the horizon. "No matter what tomorrow brings, we face it together." Cindy smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "Together," she echoed.